We have 4 items here. For items 1 and 2, it is concerned on the principal square root. For items 3 and 4, it is concerned on the principal cube root. Again, before we estimate, as the title of lesson 4 tells us, we need to determine which of these of numbers here has principal roots in the form of irrational numbers. But before that, we need to understand that the principal roots are actually, or the process of getting the principal roots are just actually the reverse operation of the process of getting the perfect uh, nth of a number. Specifically, for numbers 1 and 2, the perfect square of numbers, and numbers 3 and 4, the perfect cube of numbers. So let's start with the perfect square numbers. Again, we need to talk about this first before we tell what the principal roots are. The perfect square numbers are results when we are going to multiply the number to itself. Let's say for the first number, 1 times 1, the answer is 1. 2 times 2, 4. 3 times 3, 9. 4 times 4, 16. 5 times 5, 25. These are the first 5 perfect square numbers. The next numbers, 6 times 6, 36. 7 times 7, 49. 8 times 8, 64. And you can continue until any number you want. We can also take the perfect square of negative numbers. Again, we are multiplying the number to itself. So if we take the perfect square of a negative number, we are multiplying two negative numbers. The rule of signs when multiplying numbers shall be also followed. So for negative 1 times negative 1, we are multiplying two negative numbers or two numbers with the same sign. The result is positive. Positive what? Positive 1. So for negative 2 times negative 2, the answer is positive 4. Negative 3 times negative 3, positive 9. Negative 4 times negative 4, positive 16. Negative 5 times negative 5, positive 25. And you may continue the list. Aside from perfect square numbers, since number 3 and 4 here talks about principal cube roots, let us also consider the numbers which are in perfect cube form, or simply the perfect cube numbers. If the perfect square numbers are results when we multiply the number to itself twice or just 2 times, the perfect cube numbers are the results when we multiply the number to itself 3 times. So for the perfect cube of 1, that's 1 times 1, which is equal to 1, times another 1. The perfect cube for 1 is 1. For perfect cube of 2, 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2, we have 8. So for 3 times 3, 9, times 3, 27. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4, 64. 5 times 5 is 25, times 5, you have here 125, and so on and so forth. For the perfect cube of negative numbers, it is very amazing to note what these signs are. If we're going to multiply a negative number to itself 3 times, this is what will happen. As for negative 1 times negative 1, we are multiplying numbers with the same sign, or we are multiplying two negative numbers. The result is positive 1. The result will still be multiplied to another negative 1 to get the perfect cube. So positive 1 times negative 1, multiplying two numbers with different signs, the answer is negative 1. As for the perfect cube of negative numbers, the result is still also a negative number. So for negative 2, you have negative 2 times negative 2, that's positive 4. Times negative 2, you have negative 8. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Times negative 3, you have negative 27. Following the pattern observed, for negative 4, you have negative 64. For negative 5, you have negative 125, and so on and so forth. Again, you may continue the list if you want to. As for these problems, I believe we could actually use what is already presented here. Our goal is to determine the type or the behavior of the principal roots. For numbers 1 and 2, the type or the behavior of the principal square roots of 50 and negative 25. For numbers 3 and 4, the type or the behavior of principal cube roots of 81 and negative 27. When we say type or behavior of the principal roots, we are talking about whether the principal roots are irrational or rational numbers. Again, our lesson number 4 is talking about estimating irrational numbers. So as soon as we determine that the principal roots are rational, we don't need to estimate them since rational may give us a direct value. So let's talk about number 1. Number 1 is square root of 50. Since it's asking for the principal square root, let's proceed to the item of its reverse operation, which is the perfect square numbers. We need to locate 50 here. As you can see, we cannot see a value of 50 here. It is probably somewhere here, in between 49 and 64. This would mean that 50 is not a perfect square. It is again in between 49, which is the perfect square of 7, and 64, which is the perfect square of 8. So since 50 is not a perfect square, its principal square root will not give us an integer because the square root of 1 is 1, the square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 16 is 4, the square root of 25 is 5, the square root of 36 is 6, square root of 49 is 7, square root of 64 is 8. As for 50, again, it's somewhere here, so it cannot be 7 nor 8. So for answer for number 1, the principal square root of 50 is an irrational number. Number 2. Number 2, you have square root of negative 25. Again, it talks about principal square roots. So in short, we are going to look at the perfect square numbers. But observably, there are no numbers or there are no perfect square numbers which in the form of a negative value or there's no negative valued perfect square. Even the items or even the perfect square of negative numbers will result to a positive number. Take note that positive 25 here is the perfect square of negative 5 because when you multiply negative 5 to itself, negative 5 times negative 5, we are multiplying numbers with same signs. In short, the answer is positive. Positive 25. So it is good to note that negative 25 here cannot be a perfect square. Okay? So what do you think is the uh, principal root of negative principal square root of negative 25? Since it cannot be here, in short, it cannot be a rational, and we don't have negative perfect square numbers, it can also be irrational. To further, before I tell you the answer, I'm going to give you a further explanation. Let me stop sharing this screen and let me share to you a screen of a calculator, a simple calculator only. Okay, so this is the calculator I have in my mobile learning device. Let me try to input negative 25. So that's negative 25. And I'm going to click this button saying square root of whatever the value here, it will result to an invalid input. Let me repeat. If I will have negative 25 as this and take the square root of that, it will have invalid input. If you will try any calculators you have at home, others might say cannot be determined, others might say math error, because square root of negative 25 does not exist in the realm of real numbers. But to make it clear, it's not a real number. it belongs to another set of numbers we call complex numbers, or imaginary numbers. So if we talk about the answer for number 2, square root of negative 25, since it cannot be rational nor irrational, which are both part of real numbers, it is not found in the realm of real numbers. In short, we may say that the value or the answer for number 2 cannot be determined. May make it smaller. Cannot be determined because again, it doesn't exist as a real number. Or you could use the term unknown, or the term we used when we discussed and the quotient of any number to zero. The term undefined. That's for number 2. Number 3. Number 3 talks about the cube root of 81. Since we are talking about principal cube root right now, let's look at the perfect cube numbers. 81 is somewhere here. Is between 64 and 125, which are the perfect cube numbers of 4 and 5 respectively. In short, the principal cube root of 81 cannot be an integer nor a rational number. So the answer for number 3 is irrational. Let us make it bigger. Irrational. Okay. Because again, 81 is not found there. And finally, for number 4, we have here the cube root of negative 27. Negative 27 is actually found here. It is the perfect cube of negative 3 because when we multiply negative 3 to itself 3 times, negative 3 times negative 3, that's positive 9, times another negative 3, it will result to negative 27. So the answer for number 4 for the principal cube root of negative 37 is negative 3. We all know as an integer and is also a part of irrational numbers. Here are the answers for numbers 1 to 4. Number 1, principal square root of 50 is irrational. Number 2, principal square root of negative 25 cannot be determined or undefined. Number 3, the principal cube root of 81 is an irrational number. And number 4, the principal cube root of negative 27 yields negative 3, a rational number. The purpose of determining the principal roots of numbers is for us to identify, for us to determine which items here can be estimated. Since the topic talks about estimating irrational numbers, we can estimate the values of number 1 and number 3 in the next lessons. We may try to estimate them. We don't need to estimate number 4 already because it's already irrational. It's already estimated as negative 3, nor negative 2, number 2 because it cannot be determined. Okay. So again, practice exercise A of lesson 4 is concerned on finding the principal roots of rational numbers. And to make it clear for everyone, as the last point of this video, not all numbers with roots, i.e. square roots or cube roots, are automatically considered to be irrational numbers. As you can see, just like number 4, the cube root of negative 27 yields a rational number. And if you would like another example, square root of 4. Square root of 4, it has a square root symbol or a radical sign, but it yields 2 as a rational number. So again, not all numbers with square roots or cube roots will yield or will become irrational numbers. Some of them are rational numbers. Use this video as you learn more about principal roots of numbers and as you try more examples. This is all. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you've learned. Goodbye.